to another episode of Catch That, where we break down albums and talk about artists and eras of R&B. I am Naturally Elise, and that's my brother.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives. And yes, we are welcoming Kemani and Mabinti. For the first time, we have two guests. And soon we'll find out why. You're going to really know why.
Right.
But welcome, y'all.
Pleasure, as always.
Glad to be here once again.
Mm-hmm.
So, JR.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what we're going to be talking about. And JR going to tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
JR be nervous about messing up the words, so I'm going to help him.
Okay, thank you.
I'm talking about Stevie Wonder's Fulfillingness First Finale. JR, how about you tell us why?
Yeah, because I always call it first finale. That's why. But but yeah, we are with two of the biggest Stevie Wonder fans. I'm telling you, man. Like, we have talked to these two about a Stevie Wonder joint or the same album, which was Talking Book. And they talked about Kemani talked about Maybe Your Baby, and Mabinti talked about Blame It on the Sun. And we was like, yo, we want y'all to come back and talk about, an album, a Stevie album. And we was like, you know what? Let's talk about Fulfillingness First Finale. Let's talk about that because nobody seems to talk about it. It's always Intervisions or Songs in the Key of Life and all that. But everybody seems to miss this one. To me, it's like, it seems like everybody only talks about it when it's the anniversary and that's it. It's kind of that, and that's it. Nobody really talks about it like Songs in the Key of Life that I'll be like, all right, y'all, enough.
Yeah.
Even though we did talk about Songs in the Key of
Life with Brian, Alexander Morgan, yes. This is the album he picked, but I was like, finally we can talk about this. But before, please, I'm gonna start with you, Kemani. What made you become a Stevie fan as much as you are?
Wow. Like I said with the when I talked about Maybe a Baby, when I was on that show talking about Stevie last, that Definitive Collection CD that I got at Target, I believe when I was a 6-year-old, because of hearing, I would hear Superstition on the radio on my way to school. And I think also another song, like they would play I Just Called to Say I Love You. Like just the typical Stevie songs. I think that I Just Called and Master Blaster were like the first 3 Stevie Wonder songs that I've ever heard in my entire lifetime. So I do remember I had this big old book that I think I got it at like TJ Maxx or something. And it was talking about like significant top hits that were big in the UK and in the US. And I think it spanned from like 1954 to 2006. And 1963, I see Stevie Wonder, Fingertips Part 2 live, being like the first live single to like gold #1 or something like that. And I was just like, oh, he's been in this thing for a long time. I skimmed through, see Temptations, see Side of the Family Stone, I see Diana Ross Supremes, British Invasion, yada yada yada. Then I see 1972, they talk about Superstition a little bit. I'm like, okay, he's been in there long for a good span of time. And then I see that Definitive Collection CD at Target. I buy it. I hear Fingertips for the first time once in my life. All the essential 60 hits. Also, they had Hey Love on there, which I did not know was a deep cut until I started doing my research. I was like, oh, interesting. And then they get to Silence to Deliver, and then they get to those 70s hits they had. And in the booklet, they would say what songs were from which album and things like that. And I played that CD to death. It was like I was just getting. It was like feeling like a certain type of evolution. Every time you got to like the 60s, he was what he was in the 60s, and you go to the 70s, it's different than his 80s stuff. I think they ended with Overjoyed and Part-Time Lover. That's from Fingertips to that. So yeah, I played that CD to death. That, and then I think my parents had a Marvin Gaye CD that they already had, the greatest hits from that. So I was in Marvin and Stevie land just as deep as I was with I discovered the Temptations. Like I've told y'all, like the Temptations was the foundation of my musical landscape. So this is also me not knowing that they are all on the same label too. So it's like it was something special with that Motown thing. So, but Stevie I gravitated to, I feel like, because, you know, one, his range is just out of this world. And then two, like, you know, even on songs that were written for him or songs that he co-wrote, songs that he wrote for himself, it was just that it was a certain type of energy that I gravitated towards. And the way he would sing, it was just like, it was like he was wearing his heart on his sleeve. Like he was really feeling what he was singing. So, you know, I think of a song like You Are the Sunshine of My Life that I would try to sing to my eighth grade, my third grade crush at the time, because I was, oh, that and My Cherie Amour, like those songs, like I felt like it helped me identify with what, you know, being in love could be. I think that's what Steve did for me as a young adolescent. So then I would see like I said about what songs came from which album, and I would see, okay, Talking Book, Innovisions, Fulfillingness First Finale, Songs of Key Life. I think there was two main singles from each of those classic period albums. So I was thinking, actually, I read the liner notes in that CD booklet too, and they were talking about like his classic period. I'm just like, oh, interesting. And they would talk about like how he would structure chords and stuff like that. So I was like, so a few years later, I went on a little journey myself. I remember listening to Talking Book. I remember listening to Innovisions for the first time. Definitely remember listening to Songs of Kid Life for the first time. But somewhere along the way, I was thinking, fulfilling this, I feel like there was, even when I would read like what they would talk about regarding fulfilling this, could tell like, okay, I think this is like a gem that's kind of, I call it like the unfortunate middle child between Innovisions and Songs of Kid Life. Like it's like because you know Talking Book was what it was, but then you follow that up with Innovisions, and then you follow up Fulfillingness was something as big and as essential as Songs of the Key of Life that tackles just about every aspect of life itself. So it's just Fulfillingness is I go up for it so much because it's just like one, like all the stuff that's not appreciated enough I hold closest to. So I think that's another thing that made me gravitate towards Fulfillingness specifically as an album. So yeah. And just every year I started just learning more. I was like, man, Stevie is definitely one of my favorite artists, one of my comfort artists, and just someone that just never fails to put me in a good mood. And he's such a good spirit too, and it reflects in his music. And so that's what I appreciate when it comes. That's what made me a fan.
Ha! Same to you, it's Mabinti. What's up? How are you, the Stevie fan that you are?
Oh, so this is the weird thing. I think I talked about this on Kill's show. So funnily enough, my mom actually worked for Stevie Wonder. She was his assistant. And so she had all this Stevie stuff. She never played Stevie Wonder though. She played Sade and the Isaac Brothers. Like she barely ever played Stevie. And so this is, you know, JR, we probably around the same age, but you remember in that early 2000s when like crunk was like dominating the radio.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So that was the moment where I stopped listening to terrestrial radio, which is ironic because I ended up working for terrestrial radio. But that's a whole different conversation. But I stopped listening to terrestrial radio. I was like, screw this. And then you remember Music Choice?
Yes.
I went back and I said, you know what? Let's go back. So the very first song I had heard, you know, I heard Stevie stuff before. I heard it. I just called it Say I Love You. You know, everybody hears that. And, you know, Happy Birthday, of course. But when I heard Love Is in Need of Love, Music Choice, I was like, what? And I remember vividly, I was in high school, and I remember taking my phone and recording. I was like, oh, this is going to be because he starts Good Morning and Evening Friends. I was like, oh, this is going to be my voicemail message.
Aww.
And so I made it my voicemail message, and then I started listening to Love Is Between, and I just fell in love with it. I was obsessed with it. I was like, oh my! And YouTube came out. YouTube was starting to come out, so you could play music over and over again.
Yeah.
And then I went immediately to Best Buy in Pentagon City. You know, shout out to people who know where that is in DMV.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought Songs of Key and Light, fell in love with it. I think I cried so much to Joy Inside My Tears. I was like, this is my life. Joy Inside My Tears. You know what I'm saying? This little teenager acting like my world's ending or Joy Inside My Tears. And so from there, I just kind of went weirdly. So I went from there, and I went, and then I did, I think Music of My Mind. Weirdly, I went Music of My Mind, fell in love with Evil. I thought, this Evil is so amazing. And then I fell in love with, of course, my favorite album of all time, as well as my favorite Stevie Wonder album, Talking Book.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I talk about how much I love Blame It on the Sun. And then the love of my life in terms of songs is I Believe When I Fall in Love. And then I got an Intervisions, naturally, it's Intervisions. Living for the City. He's Mr. Know-It-All is a great one. Mm-hmm. And then so here's how I got into Fulfillingness First Finale.
Okay.
I was working for Voice of America's, it's a radio show, for this French guy. And he's like, and I was like, I was studying French at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was like a radio host, African guy. He was like, go play some music, I don't really want you to do anything. Basically, it was an internship. I wasn't really doing it. It's like, go listen to some music or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember, just because I wanted to have every Stevie Wonder stuff, I had just bought Fulfillingness First Finale. And so because he didn't let me, he basically told me I could do whatever I wanted for, the rest of the day. I started to play in the work computer Fulfillingness First Finale. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, Heavens and Zillion Miles Away is great. But I kind of stopped everything when I got to They Won't Go When I Go. I was like, okay, I have never heard anything in my life like this. Mm-hmm. And it gave me chills. And I just because you're not expecting the album to go, well, we'll probably talk about this in our conversation. Right. But you're not really expecting it to go that way. Yeah. And then, so what I love about Stevie Wonder, why Stevie Wonder continues to be my favorite artist of all time, is because I think he's the archetype for what an artist in all capacities is. Yeah. Like, he writes all his music, he, arranges his music, all this sort of stuff. And then one of the things that I've always loved about Stevie Wonder, and one reason why I talk so much about Visions as being one of the greatest songs ever, is Stevie, maybe because he's blind, he sings as if music is the only way to fully encapsulate his feeling. Yeah. Like, he sees it almost like it's this multi-dimensional expression of who he is. Right. And so there's a certain desperation that you get from Stevie, and it's partly why he is involved with all aspects of the music, from putting the arrangement and all the stuff and like that together, because it feels like you're getting a piece of who this guy is every time, especially the stuff that he writes for himself. Even the stuff he does, he didn't write for himself. He puts his soul into it as well, and he's involved in making the song. Right. But particularly the stuff he writes for himself, you feel like, okay, this is a real piece of this person's essence that you're getting with this music, and he's also a guy for me too. I always say this with Michael Jackson, a lot of people like the dancing smancy Michael Jackson. I've always been social justice Michael Jackson. That's my favorite Michael. Oh yeah. And that's the same thing with Stevie. Okay. My favorite Stevie, and JR is gonna laugh at me when I say this. No Saturn's one of my favorite songs. I know he's gonna laugh. But Stevie Wonder is, he's a guy who can dip into politics and do it in a way that doesn't sound preachy. Right. It does it in an authentic way, even tad bit radical with Big Brother, what he says at Big Brother, some of the lyrics of Big Brother. But I just think Stevie Wonder just encompasses, again, the definition, the archetype of what a real true artist is from a musical perspective.
I agree. Yes. I agree. Shit, y'all broke it down. With Stevie fan. I'm a Stevie fan just because of y'all, like y'all. That's me. That's me. And again, that's how I fell in love with I'm gonna say First Finale. That's how I fell in love with First Finale.
It's a mouthful, let's be real. It's a mouthful.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
so underrated. And I think that's how I am. I love the underrated stuff. You know what I mean? I really get really into that. And I didn't see a lot of people talking about it. So, of course, I'm an Innovisions fan. That's my favorite Stevie album, really. And then after that is Talking Book because my mom loves Talking Book. But again, she doesn't even talk about, Fulfillingness First Finale. She talks about, songs in the key of life. She goes there. So for me, that's why I'm really, really a fan of it. And to know what happened behind it and all that, it really makes you love it even more. Like,
wow.
Something Mabinti said about Fulfillingness First Finale is actually something I texted to JR last night when I was like listening to it again to have it fresh. And I said, these arrangements are so unpredictable. It's just crazy. And so you saying you had never heard anything like that before. And I felt the same. It's so weird. It's just the weirdest little amazing album.
It's very much so, very much so. And the way Sis broke that in, let's just get into this. So for this album, for real, I always feel like this is an important album and very dear to Stevie because we know, like, right after Innovisions, 3 days later, the accident happened. Right. You know what I'm saying? So right after then, it was just like he went into this coma. They didn't know if he was going to do music again. They had to slowly get him back into it again. They left him one instrument and he kind of looked at it for a couple of days and didn't fool with it. And then after kind of getting to, that space of making music again. So I feel like this is important to him. And I know Elise loves Music on My Mind. And I know that's her favorite. And I feel like with this album being as raw as it is, it takes me back to Music on My Mind because Music on My Mind is very raw. Because that's Stevie not dealing with the Funk Brothers no more. It's like, this is all me. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't know how to make a commercial record and people wasn't accepting to it. And I think with Fulfillingness First Finale, he goes back to the rawness because it's like, oh, it's me again. It's like, allow me to reintroduce myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is it. So I'm like, this is why this joint is so raw. And I'm like, oh my God. And like y'all said, it's very weird. You don't know what to expect because you're coming off Innovisions that's so damn great. And then you come to this and you're like, well, what the fuck? Why is this here? And what happened to this? And like, you know what I mean? Like, because one of the songs, I think it's a mess up in there and Stevie kept it in there. And I'm gonna talk about that. But
I think I know what you're talking about. Too.
Yes, and he's like a mess up in there. He kept it in there, and that's what makes the rawness of it. And that's why, honestly, this is my third favorite Stevie album, to be honest, because of the rawness of it, for real. So
yes, and I can actually feel that compared to Innovisions, like Fulfillingness is more stripped down. It's not as synth heavy as what you hear on Innovisions, and you were talking about the accident, you could feel that he has this new aspect on life because of course, like you would have that type of mindset if you had a near-death experience like that.
Right.
I can only imagine, being in Stevie's shoes at that moment. Like I heard Denise Williams say on Questlove Supreme, like it was speculation, like he almost didn't make it. It was like, it's crazy to think that Innovisions could have been, if it was the other way,
right,
it would have been the last album of his lifetime.
Yeah.
So for him to come back like he did with Fulfillingness, like you can just feel that, one, he's back in the swing of things as far as making music, and two, like, it's a new approach to what he's doing.
Yes.
And even when I listened to the album last night, and once I listened to Talking Book on the 50th anniversary, like I was just on a classic period tangent, like I told Mabinti before we got on. I was like, Talking Book is gonna be on the 27th. I'm gonna be at Stevie Land at the perfect time. So when I got to Fulfillingness, I was like, man, like I when I was listening to it last night, I was like, man, this is like, you can feel like that's the bridge, like the little sonic, musical, spiritual bridge between Innovisions and what he would do later with Songs of the Key of Life. You can feel like, even in his voice, like you can feel there's a maturity in there. Like on, we'll get to Heaven is 10 zillion like years away in a second, but like you can just you just feel that foundation that's not only coming back into fruition, but it's stronger than ever before. So yeah, I think that's one thing I really feel when it comes to fulfilling this too.
I definitely agree with you because that's something I was gonna say. It definitely feels like a bridge because in terms of the content wise, I think Inner Visions is really social conscious heavy, obviously, and Talking Books is more like lovey dovey, and Songs He Life is everything. So I almost feel like he was using Fulfillingness First Finale as almost a test in terms of the political themes, how far he can go a little bit, and also like really kind of refining some of the things that kind of are signatures to Stevie Wonder, these hopeful social justice songs, as well as I always say Stevie Wonder is the only one of the few artists that totes the line between cheesy and like optimistic in terms of songs. And like this album is like the definition. That some of the songs on this album is like the definition of like anybody else, this joint would be corny. It would be corny.
But Stevie would make it work.
But Stevie makes it work, and I think that's where. And I think Songs He Life is obviously I think him in his bag, his total complete control, right. And Inner Vision is him. I'm not Inner Vision. Fulfillingness First Finale is him kind of refining those things that would ultimately make him this legendary.
Right.
And a lot of songs on this album are kind of deceptive at first because it's a few songs to where about the first 20 seconds of it. It's very elevator-ish. Yeah. Am I lying? And but then it's like it's almost like every like 10 to 20 seconds he adds another layer, and then you're like, okay, that's not what I thought. And then and then another layer, you're like, oh. And then he do something weird in the background, and then you're like, what is this? So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I agree.
Oh yeah.
Yo, elevator though.
No, because I'm thinking about the intros to.
Oh, I said exactly what I.
No, because I kind of see where you come. Because I'm thinking about the intros to Heaven and then the intro to Creeping.
Yeah.
The first song.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Smile. Yes.
Smile, please. Yeah.
The first call, 15-20 seconds. It sounds very elevator grocery store.
Or like a
and then you get the other layer and you're like, oh, okay. So that's not what this is.
Right. Right. Well, okay. Well, speaking of Smile, please. All right, this is the first song. He starts the album off with it. Nice segue, sis. You're good. But I think this was the great song to start with. I mean, like we said, he had a reason to smile. Like, did you just know what this man just went through? You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, he like, hey y'all, it's me again. Like that's you know what I mean? But it's a whole new thing, you know what I mean? So I think this was a great, and I mean, he said, please don't delay from smiling. There are brighter days ahead. Like, yeah, like he like, yo, I done went through some shit and I'm about to put it all through this album and y'all about to hear it. You know what I mean? So smile, y'all. Y'all about to get some good shit. That's what I love about it.
A frown, he said, a frown can't bring out the beauty that you are.
Yeah.
Look in.
Just like this.
Just begin smiling. There are brighter days ahead. Like just that, him laying that optimism and that advice, like, yeah, a smile can go a long way, even if your heart is breaking. Like the song says. So it's just it's such a beautiful opener. Like I love a good octave guitar lick. Like I'm a Wes Montgomery fan, so like as far as jazz guitar. So like the octaves, that's such a beautiful tone. And then Stevie's voice comes in on top of that. Just that sense of encouragement just makes you feel like everything's gonna be okay. It makes you. That's another one that makes me sway too.
Yes. And like Elise said, it's in the beginning. It does sound very supermarket sweet-ish.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of the example of what I'm talking about, like toting the line between, but also this song always puts me in a good mood. It's sort of for me like similar to what would be Have a Talk with God. Like every time I listen to Have a Talk with God on Songs He Like it reminds me like a lot of this album. You can see like the bridges and the connections to what before. And this is one of them too. Like this feels like this has that energy of have a talk with God, but except he's being a little more like specific, with have a talk with God in terms of your remedies for your sadness. Where he's saying just smile, where he's like, no, you need it. This is what I do when I'm sad with have a talk with God. So I've always loved Smile Please. It's a great opener too. It's sort of like it kind of reminds me tempo wise and like vibe wise with kind of like You Are the Sunshine of My Life. Not content, but like the vibe.
Yeah, I can feel that. Yes.
Yeah, the way it starts off kind of reminds me of it.
Yeah. Oh, you know, my favorite part is Bound. Oh, feels so good. Feels so good. Such a feel. Yeah, right. That's such a feel good.
Classic.
Oh yeah.
One of his best openers too.
Oh,
definitely.
Because you coming off of Intervisions and he's opening with Too High. So it's like and he like, we're not gonna do that this time.
Nope.
I'm gonna smooth you in.
Yeah.
We gotta be smooth, you know what I mean? And I think that's dope. I think that's so dope. Because again, when he does the songs in the key of life, what does he open the album with?
Them harmonies was the need.
The need of love.
You see what I'm saying? So he's like, instead of that, he's like, all right, it worked for this. I'm gonna do it again with songs in life. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Yeah. All righty, my joint, Heaven is a Zillion miles away.
10 zillion.
10 zillion. 10.
Oh my goodness.
He puts God on Front Street, and that's just what it is. Y'all know, I feel like another favorite song of mine is Jesus, Children of America, right? And even though he's like, you know what he's talking about, but it's the way on this one, it's like, yo, this is what it is. God is in my life, and that's it. There's, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is, and this is what I like. It's like, this one is more spiritual to me than Jesus, Children of America. Jesus, Children of America, I can it's kind of like a praise and worship type of record for me. But this one is like
very political.
Yeah, like
he's like condemning preachers on that one.
Yeah,
he's condemning institutions on that one. I think like Intervisions, he's angry. Like it's like it's the first time we get like, I think we get a little bit of Big Brother. You hear his rage in Big Brother, but it's not just, it's like masked by like the banjo.
Right.
And in Intervision, he's straight up angry. I mean, you hear the anger in his voice on Jesus in America.
Right. Living for the City. Living
for the City.
And that's why it's my favorite, because I love angry albums. Yes.
No, Steve get to growling and carrying on.
Growling Stevie?
Oh,
yeah.
Love him.
Which is my favorite thing in the freaking world. Steve get into that little growl thing. I love it.
And with Living for the City too, like he was genuinely angry because I think it was Robert Margleff that was talking about like they was really getting on this man's nerves so he could have that raw emotion out on Living for the City, and you could feel that like like you could tell he's really going outside of his range on that.
For sure.
Angry Stevie, Growling Stevie, my favorite. Even actually, I got a story. When I first heard Living for the City, I think I was I wasn't 6, I was 8. My bad. And that very last verse before they go into that crazy outro.
Yes.
I heard this growling voice. I didn't even think it was Stevie. I thought it was somebody else. I was like, Jesus Christ. And mind you, I was hearing, I think Higher Ground came on before that, and then all his 60s stuff. Then I heard Living for the City. I'm like, this is different. That last verse used to scare the life out of me because I was like, he's almost dead from breathing in air pollution. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ. This was a lot. That was a lot to take in as an 8-year-old. I didn't know what to expect from that. Yeah, so I didn't mean to get off topic.
Oh no!
Talk about Living, but Angry Stevie, but with Heaven is really like years away. Like you said, like him talking about God without sounding preachy.
Yes.
That's really what I feel with that song. Like, what's that line that really gets me? Oh, I say it's taken him so long because we've got so far to come.
Yeah.
Where is your God? That's what people tell me. That's what people ask me. Like, why are all these bad things happening? Where's the God when these perils of the world start to shift? You know, and hey, it's said in the word like there's gonna be wars, rumors of wars. It's gonna be all types of destruction, and there has to be vessels within our individual souls to try to make that world a better place. And it all starts within. Let God's love shine within to save the evil souls. Like it's just man, really, that's just such a it's beautifully structured. The message is just straight to the point. He structures that song to me in a way that's it's like you know where he's going, but at the same time you don't. Like it's like he just continues to carry that message across in a different way in each verse and each pre-chorus, and it's just different segues in a song like that. It was just like wow, like it just makes you think about your own sense of religion, your own sense of of belief. So yeah, it's he makes he made that religion sound universal. Like he might like in his sense he might be talking about Jesus, but a Muslim can relate to that song, or a Buddhist could relate to that song, or a Hindu could relate to that song, because that's just what the base is to me. So
it's interesting that you say that. That's how I feel about They Won't Go When I Go.
ah,
I always say like when I first heard that I had to go pray. You know what I'm saying? Because of what he said. The song is so and we'll talk about They Won't Go When I Go. I have a very special connection to that song. It just has such meaning for me. But that's how I feel. Like it's so powerful and like you said, universal in terms of regardless of your faith.
right.
And yeah, I totally agree with you. That's the genius of Stevie Wonder is that he's able to talk about spirituality generally enough that many people can find value and meaning in his words.
And you could tell with the fact that just opening with these two songs, you could tell he's trying to inspire.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like these first two songs is very inspiring. Like this is where he's taking you. He ain't getting political yet, because mind you, this is 74. We're very into politics right now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know what
they are now. but right. So it's just like it was like Stevie's like, I don't want to do that. I want to inspire y'all. I want to give y'all something to smile about. I want you to get something to think about, especially with the things that I've been through. And I love that when we get into the 70s, artists started to be artists and they started to put their lives in there, start to put their spirituality into music, because they weren't able to do that back then. Exactly. It was about love. Okay, fine. You hurt sometimes, you're angry sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I feel like Stevie was like, yo, I'm gonna get y'all with this first until we go to the next record. Then it's like, oh yeah, okay, now we're going to where we're love now. Now the love begins. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. And I didn't even mention I was talking about the accident earlier and how that was what's the word I can say? Just the bridge between what he calls like his first life and then the second half of his life. I didn't even realize until this morning, like on the cover, there's the car, and then on top, all this time I was looking at it. I was like, I thought it was, since he's a Taurus, I thought it was a bull driving a car. Then I looked closer. I was like, that's the log. That's the log that
went through.
I was just like, whoa.
Yep.
Like.
Because if you look at the whole cover, it's like Stevie putting his whole life on it.
Basically.
Like his whole life. He starts it when he was a baby. Then he goes in the back when he's with Fingertips Motown.
Little Stevie.
The little Stevie, you know what I'm saying? Then he goes from that. Then when him and Sarita got married.
Wait, actually, no, wait. I think that's actually
is that his mom?
When he graduated, he graduated.
When he graduated, that is his mom.
That's his mama. Yeah.
But then the Motown Review.
You got Music of My Mind.
Yep.
And Talking Book Innovations right up there.
Yep. And then he's stunting with the Grammys.
He said, "Listen, I'm the king out here.
That's what he was saying.
Nobody's doing it like me.
Nobody doing it like me. I'm just coming off getting album of the year. So,
and I'm about to win it again.
I'm about to win it again.
And I'll definitely say, like his I'll say Stevie, along with Earth, Wind and Fire, like top tier album cover art.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like everything is just so detailed. Like there was like I said about the club, like there's certain things, there's so many details, there's certain things that you miss and you don't see until later on. I'm like, whoa. A lot of thought was put into these album covers. Like Intervisions is one of my favorite album covers of all.
I love that one.
Love that one.
Period. All right, well, Too Shy to Say. Now, this actually gives me, I feel like maybe he might have wrote this first and then They Won't Go Where I Go. It gives me that a little bit.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's kind of like part one and then.
Right.
Yeah, and then They Won't Go Where I Go is part two.
I get what you mean. Like when I hear like Stevie's like his classic period albums, like I kind of connect, like there's certain songs that I feel like were recorded around the same time.
Yeah.
I kind of see what you mean with like Too Shy to Say. Like you can make an argument that Too Shy to Say and what song did you say, JR?
I would say They Won't Go Where I Go.
They Won't Go Where I Go. Yeah, you can tell it. I can feel they recorded around the same time because sonically, like when you're in a certain space, you kind of stay in that creative bag. So I think,
James been playing on that song.
Yeah, James Jameson playing acoustic bass.
I know.
my favorite bass player of all time.
Yes, God. But I know BT. For me, I feel like this too takes you back to Talking Book. I love when an artist does that, when they make you feel about what we loved about you.
Yeah.
So mind you, he's in his classic period right now.
Right.
So I know we want flavors from Intervision. We want it from Talking Book, a little bit of music in my mind. Hey, even where I'm coming from, and all that. But this, because of the folk, the country of it, all that is this. You know what I'm saying? And it just gives you something that's really familiar to me. And I love when an artist do that. So I think he did that on this.
I can actually also feel that this was one of the first songs that he recorded for the album. Because you said it takes you back to Talking Book. It actually takes me back to Intervision on a song like All in Love is Fair.
Yes.
I
hear that.
So yeah. And also I react to that song a certain way because he made it for the shy niggas. He made it people like me that are kind of shy to open up to a lady that you happen to be falling in love with,
Oh my God.
This is what, I can't go on this way with it stronger every day, but being too shy to say the way that's structured chord wise. That whole portion. Oh my goodness. He just pulls his heart out.
Stevie says every line. It's just like he like takes his time. You make me
deliberate.
You make me sing. Yeah.
It almost has like you and I vibes.
Oh, that too.
Yes.
It's just the build up is slow, tempo slow.
I agree. Wow, y'all.
I didn't think of that. Wow.
Y'all just made me like at least like you said, it's just so.
I love.
And also,
yes, that part.
I missed it. What happened?
I love you.
Oh yeah, I really love you. Oh, so beautiful.
Gets me every time. At least get out of my head.
And also, I didn't even mention like the more I listen to like his classic period, the way he structures a song. And even on the verses, like he doesn't sing the same melody twice.
No.
That's what I love. I love that so much about him. And then
that's why he's so hard to sing.
That too.
Because he's in it. He plays by his own rules.
Yeah. Oh yes.
This ain't no sing along out. Like you can't sit.
You can't just sing it.
You can't like sing a whole song and be right there. Like it. I don't know. It's for like a couple songs. Like you feel it.
Yeah.
You sing your part, but this album
it's got to come from a certain place. Yeah.
You gotta be professional to sing these songs. I don't even attempt. to sing.
took
Listen, I know. His ballads, I don't even attempt to sing his ballads, to be honest. I mean, I may try a ribbon in the sky here and there, or Overjoyed. That's kind of like, it's not doable because obviously I'm not a professional singer, but I feel comfortable. I feel good about myself. I mean, at my attempt. I don't try to sing too shy to sing. I just listen. I just let him do his thing and listen to it. But he's singing on a different level with that one.
And really, the only sing-along songs on here are the ones that were singles.
That were the hits, yeah.
That's why they were singles.
Yeah.
That's some truth. Well, speaking of your favorite song, Elise.
Actually, my favorite line on Too Shy to Say is, I want to be more than a friend until the end of an endless end. An endless end? Come on, man.
But this man says, loving you, you are me, and I'm you, so... Not surprising here. Not surprising.
Not surprising. Yeah.
Who's writing like this?
Who's writing like that? At 24, he's 24 at this point. So all these beautiful songs before you reach the age of 30, it's just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Never. Oh my
different.
God. Yes. He's just different, y'all. A different guy. And that James Jamerson on this bass, Jesus. Whew.
There's somebody, I forgot his name. He plays the steel pedal guitar on it, and the melodies on that is just so. Was
it Phil? Was it Phil?
I forgot his name. I can't find it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then coming to find out, like Paul, Paul Anka?
Yes.
He was singing background on Heaven is 10 zillion light years away. I'm like, even when you read the liner notes, I'm just like, it'd be people you least expect singing background vocals on this. I'm like, whoa.
I think by this point, Stevie can get anybody and their mama to sing background.
Exactly.
I mean, you see what he did on All I Do.
Yeah.
And then if you read the line notes on Soul Is Kid Live, you got people like Bobby Humphrey and Herbie Hancock, George, Ronnie Foster. Like, everybody wanted to work with Stevie at this time.
Everybody wanted to get down. Like, I want to be a part of it. Let me. I'll play the tambourine if you want. Like, that's you just wanted to be a part of the project for real. Like, wow. Yes. All right. Well, the single. He owned Reggae Woman.
Oh, my jam. Well, due to me hearing on my Definitive Collection CD, I think that's the first song it played after Living for the City. And, it's kind of like an extension of what he did with like A Sweet Little Girl or I Want to Talk to You. Like I also love Stevie showing like his goofy side in a way. Like with Boogie on Reggae Woman, like it's a basic like blues type of structure. He also inserts his own self in there, like Boogie on Reggae Woman, what you trying to do? Like it's just that's him inserting himself in that blues structure. Like it's like an electro blues. Like I just love it. And then also when he pulled out the harmonica, like me still learning as a kid, like I'm thinking, in the 60s, he had his harmonica. He wasn't on the keyboard yet. And then he brings back the harmonica on Boogie on Reggae Woman. I'm like, he's still doing it. So like, and he said, "Can I play?" Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the song.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
That's my favorite part of the song. I just feel like him. I felt like with this record, I felt like Stevie, Robert, and Malcolm wanted a jam where they could see the Soul Train dancers going up. I think that's just what it was. Because you see the clip that he did with Superstition on Soul Train.
Yeah.
They are getting
down. You hear the claps, the stomps.
Like they going off. And I think they was like, we need something like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we could just imagine them. And he like, can I play? And you can hear the Soul Train like, play, Stevie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what they wanted. And that's why I just think, again, it's fun. And I can care about the lyrics of the song, to be honest with you, because it ain't nothing reggae about this song.
Right.
Not at all. But it's just the musicality of it that I like it and it's fun. You know,
it's just a beautiful jam session type of feel. Like I'll take you there type of thing.
Right.
Like, just a fun jam session. Like people just sitting in and just having fun. like just like let's play some blues, and then they just go off on whatever. Like that's what I love about Boogie on Regular Woman. Just the naturalness of it and just the energy that Stevie brings out that just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This song irks my whole entire day.
Why?
Tell us what, Elise.
Come on, you was going in, and Elise was just giving you the look like.
Oh.
No, what I agree. It's fun. In the beginning, I'm cool. But like the last to 2 minutes of it, it is sonically very annoying to me because what's that high pitch something that it's very nails on the chalkboard. The end of that.
I get you.
Like I feel it in the beginning, and then it's just like I feel like my ears are ringing. Like I don't like that.
Oh,
I don't enjoy that feeling. And I'm in the beginning I like the song because it's so funky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real funky.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That sound like ringing in my ears at the end. I can't.
Yeah, he going off on that harmonica. I'll give him.
He really does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll say the greatest. One thing people don't actually they do, but greatest harmonica player to ever live is Mr. Steve Len Morris. Like once you hear a certain harmonica,
absolutely.
Even if it's uncredited, like it might have been him on BJ Thomas's version of Happier Than the Morning Sun, but
it was. I think so.
Like
to
certain harmonica,
I do. I think
okay, so you've heard it.
Yes.
So, okay. So yeah, certain riffs that he would do, like even if it's uncredited, like it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
You know, Motown had him so binded, so he couldn't really do other things under other names and shit. Right. So it's like that damn Barry, whatever. All right, Creeping. This is the one I think the mess up happened. If you listen to it's like I think the 16 seconds to like 19 seconds, it's like a mess up when it come in.
Are you talking about the drum?
The drum drops and it's like off. It's off. And I was like, I always got it. Like, it's crazy to me. See, Kemani, we're talking about another freaking song with you that had a mess up. Like what we did with how the Blue Notes with that crack. Yeah, I'm like, so I was like, we're talking about another mess up with Kemani, but it was a good one. Like it's still good, but I was like,
it fits so well. I think the timing of the mess up just fit perfectly into what was about to happen. So I guess they just said, "Hey, let's just keep that in there."
And that's the rawness of Stevie again. This is the rawness of Music of My Mind and all that because it's raw. It's like Stevie was like, "Probably keep that joint in there. It sounds good. Why not?" You know what I mean? So yeah, but Creeping.
I like Creeping, but this is one I talked about this in some other podcasts. Talking about covers. This is the only one of the few times where I think somebody else bodied him, and we got to give it to Luther Vandross.
Got to give it to Luther Vandross.
Sorry, Stevie.
Talk about that with sis.
But I mean, but it's not. It's truly not fair, though, right? It's Luther, right?
That's true.
He's Mr. Velvety. Mr. Song Stylist himself.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course he was going to like body it. And it's not to say Stevie Wonder this version isn't good. Right. It's really good. Yeah. But Luther, something about Luther with slow tempo when he slows it down.
Yeah.
And really is deliberate, and some of his he's just he's the ultimate song stylist.
Yeah.
Ultimate steal your record.
Right.
Yes.
Just to steal your record.
Sorry, Miss
every day of the week.
Yeah, and if you think about it, and I was kind of telling JR this earlier, when Luther covered it, he changed the entire mood of the song.
Yeah.
Yes.
He made it so polished because Stevie is so raw, it's so rough. Yeah, right. Mess up in it that they kept it's that rough.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And so, and when Luther sings it, it sounds like a cheating song, even though
it really does.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah.
you know, but it sounds like that because something about the velvetyness of it, and with him doing all the different things with creep, 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 you know. So, but the Stevie is raw. It's very vulnerable. It's just rough around the edges, and that's what I love about it. But yeah, it's the better song to me, but Stevie is the vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's funny how I actually discovered that song. You remember the episode of Martin?
Oh yes.
That's the first time I took it all out of context because I thought that was just vibing. I didn't even know that was a song. And then I think I heard Luther's version first. It was not even the studio version. It was the
who is this dude? Like, who is this dude? Like, did I just tell you this?
Yeah. It was actually the Live at Radio City Music Hall version that my friend had put me on. And they said, "Oh, say it for me 4 times, creep, 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 creep." I was like, "Oh, that's where that came from."
Yes.
Yeah. And I'll say, I got to give it to one of the MVPs on Stevie's version. And every time I hear Minnie's voice on that,
come on,
yes.
Come on,
I love Minnie's voice with Stevie's. It just fits so perfect.
Don't it?
Stevie, I love Stevie. Was always attracted to, or is always attracted to, like the female voice. It's a certain tone of the female voice that he really seeks after. Like you think about Sarita, Denise Williams, Shirley Blue.
Yeah. Well,
Angela Winbush.
Like they have a tone to them, and it just fits.
A sweet tone.
It's very sweet.
He likes almost sopranos.
Yeah, and almost adorable in a sense. Like
yeah.
Every time I hear Minnie's voice. When Minnie's voice comes in, I have to go back to Take a Little Trip from the Perfect Angel album, and the title track because Stevie wrote both of them.
Yes.
So I feel that vein. Like Stevie was a working man in '74. Like it was a certain.
Me and you had a conversation on Twitter about that. Yes.
Yeah. It was just like it was a certain type of thing that he was on, and it just that organic, natural feeling in this particular era of his creativity was it's just like a breath of fresh air almost. Like it just feels it's chilling and beautiful all at the same time. It's just wrapped up into one. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And like you said, when Brian was on the show, when our show, he said Stevie called him when he heard Coco's voice.
Like, it's in that same vein. Yeah.
Yes. He loves female voices, yo. And he said he called him and was like, yo, who's this girl that you got? Like, her voice is amazing. And Brian was like, well, Stevie, I did 3 years ago, I did the Grammys with you. You don't remember me? You remember the girl I'm working with, but you don't remember me? Right. Like, okay. You know what I mean? But that I do, Minnie's voice on this, her background on this is just like, so beautiful, man. Like she's just
purity.
Very
her
pure.
voice is not discussed enough for me.
No.
At all. And he knew, yo.
It's so much more than Loving You. I promise.
No, by far.
Like, so much more.
I mean, even if you go from Loving That and just listen to Ordinary Pain, where she's killing it.
Yeah.
That should be enough. But I think we talked about, I alluded to it in our chat, Kemani, about my Sarita theory. Because going to your point, Stevie loves his sweet voices. Right. One of his favorite voices is he really loved Aaliyah's voice a lot. And my theory is because it reminds him of Sarita. They have very similar tones. In terms of I think he has a thing for soprano. Well, she wasn't a soprano; she was an alto, but she played around in the soprano world. But he has like a thing for like really sweet voices. Yeah. Even Denise is a soprano. I think Denise is a soprano. Don't quote me. I'm pretty sure she's a soprano, right? No, she alto.
Soprano to me. Yeah.
Let's Google that. I'm not a vocal coach, but I'm just going off my ears a little bit.
No, that's fine because clearly that's what Stevie do.
But certainly, Minnie for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Is a soprano.
Oh yeah.
So he loves him some sweet voices.
Yes.
So I'm not even surprised that you know, he features Minnie a lot in a lot of his
On
stuff.
this
You can hear her
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
throughout
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
throughout his work.
Yes. Oh
Like-
yes. Oh
and the
yeah.
fact-
we definitely need to do more love for Minnie Riperton.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
she's a stylist. I put her like her and Phyllis to me are like of my favorite kind of voices, like tones that I love.
wow.
Those two don't get discussed enough, in my opinion. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Whole different conversation.
Was a mixed fan. It is this one.
Her. That one, Minnie and Phyllis.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
they're my top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're here, Elise.
I love that. I love
Those
that.
are my favorite. And I'm not I'm really finicky when it comes to female voices because I don't like all of them. I'm very, very particular.
Gotcha.
But Phyllis is the one that has me. Like I think she has one of the greatest vocalists. She's one of the greatest vocalists ever because she's so technical.
Mm-hmm.
She's super technical and deliberate, and her placement and her song style is just perfection. That she uses that jazz. I mean, I could write a whole thesis on that woman, do a TED talk on this how amazing of a vocalist she is. But yeah, that's another conversation. I don't want to get too off track.
You make
I'm sure he likes Phyllis too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
Oh yeah.
His taste in music is very versatile, like wide range. And the fact that, you know, we're talking about Minnie, like he loved Minnie even back when she was with, you know, Rotary Connection. Like he wrote a song for them, I think. I forgot the name of it, but you know, you made me want to play Come to My Garden after this.
Oh.
Okay, but anyway.
Y'all,
that's a good one.
That's the first vinyl that I've ever purchased for myself.
Wow.
Because the beginning of my collection came from a DJ friend of mine. But the first album that I actually bought was Come to My Garden.
Wow.
You're getting your life right now, aren't you?
I love that lady.
Yeah.
No, she's
all right. So now Stevie gets political now.
Yeah, that's my type. My vibe.
Yes, sir.
That's my vibe.
He's getting political. You haven't done nothing.
Oh yes. Yes.
The first song, side 2. Yes.
Oh yes. Yes. I love that song.
Even when I first heard it out of context, like on the Definitive Collection CD, going back to that, like his funk, like Stevie's funk is just so heavy. It's
hard.
And especially if it's an E flat, I can't go wrong. Like like that the trilogy of not even a trilogy, like a 4-part with Superstition, Higher Ground, Haven't Done Nothing, and I Wish. Like every time he gets in that key, you know it's gonna be funky. So but when You Haven't Done Nothing, it was unique to me because it was like, you know, that intro would get me so hype as a kid. Like I would just be so ready. The synth programming that he did with him and Robert and Malcolm, like
come on,
changed the game forever, man.
Yes.
It just continued to expand. And that's why I love when Law says that Stevie was digital before digital was digital.
Oh yeah.
Like, it really
come on now. Yes.
Of why, you know, he was able to adapt into the 80s without any type of issue because he was already back there in the mid 70s. So like and then when that beat drops and it just boom, like you can feel like, you know, it's a stomper. Like I never play that song without stomping the ground. Like it's just just in your face. And then he just gets on. I consider You Haven't Done Nothing as the final chapter of what I like to call the Richard Nixon
yes.
The Richard Nixon diss track trilogy.
yes.
And it gets like every round just gets higher and higher. You start with Big Brother, then he's Mr. Know-It-All, and then You Haven't Done Nothing. It's crazy how coincidentally Richard Nixon resigned like 2-3 days after the single drop. It was reaching somebody. You know? So like he just comes in just on his ass, just saying, We are amazed, but not amused by all the things you
decisions
say.
are made by you. Yes, God.
Concerned, but not involved with decisions that are made by you. Sick and tired of hearing the song telling us how you are changing right from wrong. If you really want to hear our views, if you want to see where we're coming from, you ain't done a damn thing. Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing. No.
And again, I love the growling and the anger.
Exactly.
It's just progressively angrier throughout the track.
And I definitely felt like when he did it at the Grammys.
I was just gonna bring that up. I'm like, that was bold as a mug. That joint at the Grammys.
Because he could have easily done Boogie on Reggae Woman.
Right. Yeah. He could have done that. That was the hit. That was the big single. That was whatever. But he said, no, I'm gonna do that. And y'all gonna give me album of the year. How about that?
Listen.
And what I also love about this song, like it, even though it's so just stank funk, it's also like country bluegrassy.
Yeah.
I can hear that.
Oh yeah,
I hear that. Oh yeah.
Someone were to cover it, they could either do a folk version or they could do like a country version.
Right.
Imagine that.
I agree with Mabinti though. When you said this song is so damn aggressive, it's like Mr. Know-It-All, even though at least I love that song to death. Like I love that song to death. But this one, Stevie is doing a big fuck you. Like that's just what this song was.
He's not passive aggressive at all.
At all. Like it's like
what it is.
This is how I feel, and I don't care what you think and whatever. And if you don't get it now, don't make me do this again because it can get more aggressive than this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like you said, after 2-3 days after the song becomes a single, Richard Nixon resigns. Richard was like, I'm done. You done killed me 3 times. I'm done.
I think I read somewhere he was Stevie was on Richard Nixon's blacklist or something like that. He had a bunch of artists that were on there. Bob Dylan was on there.
Bob Dylan was on there.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I think Stevie was definitely was on there because
he had to be at the top of the list.
The top of the list. All his joints were actually singles that were hits. So it was like, well, no, Big Brother wasn't a single.
Yeah, Big Brother. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, this song is dope. And then to have the Jacksons on it.
I was just about. That's why. That's one thing that was to me was missing with that Grammy performance. That was the one chance
I know.
The Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised.
And they were there.
Exactly. And that's why I was like,
they had to be there.
I was bugged out because I'm like, why did he just have him up there with him? Like, they could have rocked. That could have been a moment for real.
Like get the microphone, do a mic toss. Get the microphone to Mike. See what
he
gonna do some ad libs. You know how Mike is.
Right? And lived in the studio with.
Right. Like really like the picture, like I gotta have that picture on my wall. That picture.
Dang, I know what you're talking about.
I need that on a shirt, a picture.
Yes.
When Mike and him is in the studio. Yeah, that's when Mike is like really looking like this is when he's starting to come into his own, because at this time they getting sick of Motown.
Oh, they getting tired.
They're getting done with Motown by now. They like, look, we want to write our own stuff, and I think they knew getting with Stevie was gonna do that. I think Stevie was gonna be there Gamble and Huff before Gamble and Huff.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think they was gonna let Stevie was gonna be like, y'all want to talk about something? What y'all want to talk about? Like he probably was gonna let them become artists, but. Barry was like, no.
I'm still on the shelf, and we've yet to hear it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, but this song is dope, and like I said, the Grammys, him doing it at the Grammys was just so powerful in front of that audience. Like,
yes.
It's not too cool to be rude, but you brought this upon
yourself.
Oh, I love that part. Oh my god!
You want the truth and nothing else.
He wanted all the smoke, and that's what I love about Stevie.
Yes,
all the smoke. He didn't care. What you gonna do, Nixon? What you gonna do? I'm an artist. I'm a blind man. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Give it to me.
Oh man.
Yeah, but see, and this song is relevant today, y'all. That's what we call timeless.
Man, when Trump was doing what he was doing,
baby, I put that on my story so many times.
Man.
Oh, it stays on my political playlist.
I bet.
It will never leave.
I
It
bet.
will never leave.
I bet. But yeah, this song is just amazing, and I'm glad it was a single, and I'm glad that it did really well. And now in these days of time, we can still listen to it, and it still sounds fresh.
And it's still relevant. Like, and going back to 10 zillion light years away, I forgot to mention like the lyric when he said, "Why must my color black make me a man?" Emphasizing the fact that racism was still a thing in 1974, just as it was in 54 and 64.
Yeah.
Like the American education system tends to tell us, like, after the Civil Rights Act was passed, oh, segregation was over, racism was gone. It's in the brain. No.
Not at all.
Not at all. Still ain't. Still, like, come on.
Yeah.
We still dealing with it now. That's why I was like, yo, we need more records like this.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like whatever's going on in our time, this is when artists should be artists and talk about what's really going on in our community.
To reflect the time. Like I'm trying to remember what interview though. Nina Simone said, like, how can you be an artist and not reflect the time?
Yes.
Like it's
period.
It's required for, well, at least for me, for my standards of what an artist should be. Like that's my criteria. Like, you got to reflect what's going on.
And Stevie was very good at that. Very good.
A master.
Yes. Okay. It ain't no use.
That's a good one.
One of the realest songs about when a relationship is over. When a relationship is done, this is
over
it.
and done. It man.
It's like Born Exchange valediction. He's like,
yes.
But leave your things by the door, like, it's not the thing.
It's done.
And I think I heard this. I don't know if this is true. I heard that he actually recorded this record during the Intervisions.
Oh.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that, and I was like, well, I'm glad he didn't put it on Intervisions.
Right.
It makes sense because he did All Is Fair in Love, All Is Fair in Love. So
right.
You know, especially that last line of that song, it would make sense.
And I'm like, now he has all his girls because you know he got what's her name? Minnie is on this.
Minnie and Denise on there. I think Lonnie Groves.
Lonnie Groves is on this, but Sharita ain't on this at all.
Nope.
She sure ain't.
She ain't on this at all because I think Sarita got her own version, just a little piece of you. She like, okay, all right. You want to say it ain't no use? All right, I got you. All right, here's mine. since you don't want to put me on this joint, all right, I'm gonna do one of my own. And she did hers. And if y'all listen to that, I think that's them two going at each other like, this is over, nigga. Okay. All right.
Both of them are low key, or I say high key passive aggressive. High key.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally.
I like the passiveness of the line. Each other we must do without. That's what I tell people when I want to leave. Each other we must do without.
So we must say bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
bye-bye. What? Woo. I was like, Stevie was like, I'm gonna talk my shit. Like, this is him talking his shit. Like, this relationship is done. I'm over it. Let's whatever you do you and I do me. And I'm gonna have everybody but Sarita on it in background because I'm talking about her.
I'm talking about right. Oh my god.
I'm talking about her. So yeah.
As I look back, I'm really trying to see just what it was that made the spark because the fire's
out. That leaves no doubt.
And in the lyrics, it's an exclamation point.
For real.
That is because we know the truth. Yeah, exclamation point. It leaves no doubt. Fire's out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There ain't no reason trying to force a smile when pain is really in its place. Let's part before we lose love's traits. The pen. At
the end, there ain't no juice because we done run out of juice.
I was just about to bring that is once again showing his goofy side, even in the most serious song.
And
going back to 10 zillion light years away, like them voices you hear in the background, like. He just, oh man, it's
oh god,
ran out of juice, out of gas, ain't no gas in the tank, ain't nothing left to give. Oh my god,
holy Stevie.
And then there's a part where I activate my Eddie Levertness. And the second verse when he would say, "We still are young, then both of us have time to find out what promise."
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
love that part. That part really gets me.
And that part, honestly, because Kemani, you said it in your episode when you did maybe your baby. Stevie will always know who was hot and what was going on.
Yeah.
And he will always kind of put it in. I always thought that part, he was probably like, oh yeah, OJs, I see y'all. I see y'all.
Y'all killing the game, for real.
I see y'all. So I'm going to get my little growl in there like you, Eddie. I'm going to do my little thizzle with you.
Yeah, it was very competitive in them times.
Listen.
Super competitive.
Super competitive. Everybody was on their A game.
You better believe it. What?
I think, you know what's so interesting? That you mentioned Eddie LeVert.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of, I think lately, which is allegedly about him. And because like his ex-wife cheated on him with apparently Eddie LeVert.
Oh.
So
yes.
That's why that is an interesting connection.
I just thought about that for a second. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. It was.
Yeah,
lately. Allegedly.
That's the alleged part.
And he cheated with Eddie, so now it makes sense. Instead of him saying that he was like probably Eddie, you mother.
Yep. It's deep. It's deep.
About that.
Yeah. Stevie is like that. He's subtle. He's also passive aggressive as hell.
Yeah.
Yes. All in the music. Like
it's a Taurus thing.
Yeah, I was just about to
tell you. Right. Yes, right.
Yeah. That's definitely the Taurus in him.
Oh God. Oh man, we go to They Won't Go Where I Go. Go ahead, Mabinti. Go ahead. You already talked about it in the
I love. It's in my top 3 favorite Stevie songs.
Wow.
Top 3. And it ain't 3, it's 2. It's number 2. It's number 2. Oh my God. It is, and he didn't write it. So 2 of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs were one song that he wrote. I love this song because lyrically, come on. It is so powerful. Big men feeling small, weak ones standing tall. I will watch them fall. They won't go when I go. The greed of man will be far away from thee. My soul will be free. Be free. They won't go. I mean, come on. It's lyrically. Just take the lyrics alone.
Yes.
And it's just so powerful and so religious without being like overtly religious.
Yes.
And then musically, it reminds you of like old school church, those like Greco-Roman church, you know what I'm saying? It's like chanting almost.
Right.
No more.
I read articles. It's like a funeral march type of thing.
Yes. But in the ending part, come on. The way he ends it, and it's just like, wow.
The voice.
Come on, like this, and it's I think also one of his best vocal performances.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Top tier vocal performance.
Yes.
It's just so I fell in love with They Won't Go. So when I mentioned I was working for this radio show and it like stopped me in my tracks. I couldn't do work for the rest of the day after I heard this song. I was in shock. I just couldn't. It was too stunning for me. And so so my background partly is in I have a video production company. So before I even started founding that video production company, I started doing editing and putting videos together myself. So this was the soundtrack for my very first music video that I edited together. And this is before YouTube was corny and like deleted all videos that had, licensed music. And it was like I used They Won't Go to express how I felt in 2004 with, what was going on in Iraq and what was going on politically and also domestically in our country. And I just was like, I'm gonna make a video out of this. So that's part of the reason why I have a special connection, because I was really in my political bag. And then this was like the definition of everything I wanted to express politically in the song. And so I was able to really put together this video. And I will always love They Won't Go When I Go, because it's just so powerful. It's still relevant. And weirdly enough, people just recently discovered because of it was played at Michael's funeral. But
that's where I first heard it.
But I mean, it's just it. Every time I listen to it, I have to take 5 minutes to just reset. You know, because it's just so deep. Every line on there is intentional. Like I think Sarita's sister wrote this one. Yvonne.
Yeah,
Yvonne, right? Yeah,
right.
So
Her pen game.
So, because Stevie's listed as a writer too, so it's not a co.
Yeah, I'm guessing he wrote the music and then Yvonne provided the words.
Okay.
They
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Her pen game is she also wrote my other favorite song, I Believe When I Fall in Love. So her pen game,
her
pen game is elite.
You got it back.
But I'm in love with it till this day. Probably, and I think it will also be. It's probably my top 5 favorite song of all time as well. I put that. It's that highly regarded for me as a song. It's perfect. Wow. Perfect song, top to bottom.
It is. I agree with that.
Yes.
I love this record, man. He brings a lot into it. I think for me, I feel like Stevie is talking about non-believers to me. Yes. I feel like that's who he's speaking to. Because again, this album is very spiritual. Because what we said in the beginning of what he went through, he put all of that into there. And I feel like this song is very haunting, but it needed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it needed to be. It needed to be haunting. And then he throw the line in there from who's one of my favorite producers of all time, Mr. Curtis Mayfield. Yeah. He said, ain't no room for the hopeless sinner.
Yes.
I was like,
I love that.
Come on, man. Like, so when he did that, I was just like, that got me. And then Gone From Painful Cries Away From Saddened Eyes, along with him, I'll Buy.
Yes.
That's when I was like, yeah, he's talking about God there. Like, it's on another level there. You know what I mean? And then for George Michael to do it, who did it on a top 5 album of mine, which is Listen Without Prejudice.
Without Prejudice.
Yeah. Oh my God. And the way George Michael did it, and I think George Michael was doing this because he wanted to be free. And you could tell, like, Kemani, the way he ended it. He ended it the way he was like, no one can keep me from my destiny.
Yes.
And the way George Michael ended it, you can tell he was just like, y'all, like, I don't care what you think about me and what you might feel, because Listen Without Prejudice in a way was George Michael's coming out album for real. If you really listen to it.
It really was. Yeah.
It really was, like Freedom and Cowboys and Angels and Something to Save and all those joints was like his coming out. And then he really loved Stevie.
Oh yeah.
George Michael loved Stevie down. And he said he actually hated doing this song because it wasn't as great as Stevie's. He was like, yo, that's why he like didn't perform it a lot. He performed it, I think, maybe twice. And he was like, I'm not doing this. It's not as great as my idol. But Stevie actually liked it. Yeah. You know what I mean? When your idol say, yo, I really like what you did with my record, he was like, I still don't feel honored like at all. But I felt like Stevie was doing it from a place of wanting people to believe, like, y'all, forget all of this mess. Like, I done went through this mess. I'm trying to tell y'all need to come on with me. But since y'all want to laugh and do all this mess, fine, y'all ain't gonna go with me. I'm gonna go to this paradise over here, especially with what God has done for me. Right. And then I feel like George Michael was doing it from a freedom aspect. Like, I want to let all my feelings bare and let it just be free. And I want to be free. And y'all not gonna take anything from me. And I think that's the difference of those two songs. But this, I agree with you, Mabinti. This is a top 10 Stevie record for me, period. Like, I gotta gather myself after hearing this joint. Like, you really can't be like I literally, when I'm listening to the album, I'll be like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for Bird of Beauty yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
It's so heavy.
Just a second, like, nah.
Yeah, it's so heavy. And I think I remember you saying about few years ago, saying how hauntingly beautiful this song is. Like, no more lying friends wanting tragic ends, though they pretend they won't go. Like, it seems like each verse is it hits harder than the last.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
He like just goes all in on the bridge, like unclean minds mislead the pure. The innocence for sure. For them there is a resting place. People sinning just for fun.
Just for fun.
Never see the sun, for they can never show their face. And then took the words.
Ain't no room for
the hopeless sinner.
Come on.
Who will take more than he will get. He ain't hardly gonna get.
I love that. That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part of the song.
And those
that's my favorite part of the whole song.
Right, you say Stevie do a lot of songs and it don't sound preachy. I'd agree with you. Cause that's a preachy ass.
That is a preacher.
Well, this is yes.
Yeah.
You're
that's
right.
like good, bad, or different, but it's very, very preachy. So you said
very
church in those
it's very church Sunday morning.
And the harmonies on that. Can we talk about the harmonies on that?
Oh my God.
One long to go so far.
That's what's so haunting about it.
Oh, from tears.
Oh, come on. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
Come on.
And
he pronounced every syllable. Like,
yes. I want you to feel what I'm saying.
and he ain't got nobody. Nobody. It's all Stevie.
Exactly.
There's no background.
Yes. And you talked about George Michael doing his version. And my good friend put me on that version actually, that on my journey back to George Michael land. And when I was hearing this song, Stevie's version like a few months ago, I was thinking of one guy that if he had done this song, I would have loved his rendition on it. If he was well enough to do it, Donny Hathaway.
Yes.
Oh God, yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Donnie would
yes.
y'all.
Yes.
This record. Because Donnie will capture the emotional part of it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
He would body it like
yes.
He would body it. Come on.
It would probably be after giving up for me.
Like, yes.
It really would. Like
it would be.
He would cover that. Me, oh my God.
It would be in like that. Someday we'll be free.
Yeah.
Like vocal,
right in that vein.
Passion. Come on. Oh my God. That's my favorite vocalist. Male vocalist.
That's Elise. That's
female vocalist.
Why we like this, Elise? You and I. That's my favorite male vocalist of all time. The man makes me cry every time, especially songs like that. He would.
And this is the era. And this is the era of Extension of a Man too. Like
yes.
Imagine him doing this song live. Like I love his.
God. Don't do this.
Kemani, why are you doing this?
I'm so
sorry. The imagination going on right now.
Oh, that's just, I can't even imagine anymore. Like,
I can't. Oh my God, that would have been incredible.
I just got chills just now. Like,
yeah,
and he would have added more gospel flair to it
exactly.
Too. With his arrangement,
right.
I thought this one was preaching. Get ready. Get ready.
All right.
Yeah.
But interesting enough, I also think about this. I also connect this to Saturn in terms of the vibe. Because Saturn is very like, he's frustrated with this world and he wants to go somewhere else. Like he's confident and that God's justice is going to take care of everything that's going on. But he's long. As much as there's like he's condemning corruption and all that stuff, but they won't go. He's also like longing for paradise essentially. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what basically Saturn is basically about is him like really longing, him being so frustrated and angry and with the justice system and the way the world works and wanting to find some place where that stuff doesn't exist. Yeah. So I always think about, I actually put those two together. They're again, Saturn is in my top 5, he's my top. JR. I did it. I did that for you, that. I did it especially for you.
I bet you did.
I did, especially for your face. That's why I did that. No, but the Saturn is in my top. It isn't. It actually isn't in my top 5. I did it just to get.
Yeah, like Elise was giving, as soon as you said it, Elise was like,
I did it for both of y'all. I did it for both of y'all. Listen, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna make y'all Saturn evangelists. If nothing else,
but look,
girl, good luck.
Girl, Brian tried to, and we was like, no.
Oh, no.
Brian didn't like it either.
Oh, that was one he didn't like.
Oh, I thought he did.
Okay,
Okay.
Got it. Okay. I thought it was one because this one Brian was really pushing, and we was like, no, man, no, sir.
He should know. Well, that was the first time. I say he should know that by now, but he didn't know then.
Yeah, that was the first time. He didn't know.
I know. And we ain't gonna necessarily like what he likes.
Okay, so now we at Bird of Beauty.
I love this song.
I love it too. I love it.
It's another deceptive elevator song.
Yeah.
I agree.
You be like, okay. But then it go back and he be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Y'all know Stevie gonna do his different you know that man love to talk his different languages on the album now.
Yeah.
Because he did it with Living for the City with no, Don't Worry About a Thing.
Don't Worry About a Thing.
French. And then on this he's doing Portuguese. I'm like, you know what, Steveland, we got it.
Get your world travel, man.
Yes, we got it. But they jamming on this. Especially you needed a calm type of record like this. Especially after They Won't Go Where I Go. Like you deepen your emotions with that record. You needed something like this.
Let's lift our spirits back up.
Yes.
And I love the vibe. I love the vibe on this record. In the background.
Yeah.
It has like a Latin feel. Like I love it. And
I love it.
And Stevie's choice in melodies, I call him a master of melody. Like just like above the chords that he does, like this. Like, and then he changes it. Oh,
the man of melody for
yes, the man of melody, and then the lyrics to go along with that is just feels so natural. Like,
feel.
Yeah, there's unfound in white, red, or yellow pills.
Yellow pills.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't sing, people. I just love the song.
Oh, please! You ain't the only one. I done hit a bad note a couple times.
I'll say like this is like him. This is like him going.
Watch it. You watch it, girl. You watch it because I'm like Brian when you do this. I'm like, what's she about to say?
Yeah, but with Bird, like it's like him going back to that vein of Smile Please, but with just like
I said that too. Yeah,
like to me that sure sounds best because that means happiness for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just like that appreciation of life and what it has to offer you if you just go out and enjoy the world, enjoy the sights, and just have that freedom. Like the song, like I always say, this song feels like freedom to me.
Yes,
and it's like I just want to be like relaxed on the beach with the wind blowing and the waves crashing and all that stuff. Just in that space of just spiritual and mental and just feeling healthy. 110%.
And especially in today's where we need a song like this.
Exactly.
Especially with the mind space we're in now and mental health and all that. This song kind of takes you, like you said, Kemani, takes you to a place of freedom where you're like, you can actually just exhale. Like, I'm just gonna vibe to this, and it's great.
And that reminds with the Portuguese verse, I don't think I've yet to translate what he was saying on that second verse. Shout out to Sergio Mendes who did the Portuguese.
Yes.
So
I don't know what the heck, because they said. When I think it was it Malcolm or was Cecil, one of them that did an interview, and it was like Stevie had it in one ear, and then it's like he had it in one ear. He's literally just saying he was like it was magic that night, like just to see him doing this record it was just magic because Sergio was telling him what to say in one ear, and Stevie was just doing it. And he was like, Stevie was just on beat, and he's just looking like, you don't even know what the heck this stuff means. Like, how the hell you even work in this? Like, he was like, yo, he was like, it was just magic to see. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I bet, like, to see somebody really in an artistic bag, and this is an amazing thing to see. Like,
it's sort of like again, this is why, you know, I really believe this album is a bridge, because it's like the song on songs I'm Singing, which is a song I love. I think that song doesn't get enough love. It's so full of life and color. Yeah. You know, and that's what I love about Bird of Beauty. It's full of color.
It's a lot of color.
Like, there's so much going on, tonally rather. Yeah. And of course, him speaking another language. I think he's I'm thinking he's speaking Swahili and Spanish. which, you know, which in itself is kind of incredible. Yeah. But yeah, it's such a happy, feel good, one of those, you know, feel good. You know, another one where he under anybody else it could be corny, but
but with him, you know,
he just makes it work.
That's it with the like I said, you needed it after they went without go.
Exactly. And I also love, like, I love songs pertaining to a singer where their range is showcased from the lowest low.
Yes.
Like, you see how he went up an octave on that second chorus, and like just going in that high head voice. Previous head voice, I probably say the most influential head voice ever. Like, there's so many singers I can think of that tried to patent after what he did.
Brian McKnight, cough.
Brian McKnight, yep.
For sure.
Yes, without a doubt. Charlie Wilson, Aaron Hall, Wanye from Boyz II Men, like, everybody that
George Benson.
George Benson
too. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so, what's the part? There's a part that always.
Who you say?
Huh? I looked up the Portuguese translation.
And what is it?
What's he saying?
It says, all right, you should rest your mind. It doesn't matter what will happen from now on. You will sing joy, your heart like this, so happy you're gonna sing.
Oh
wow! It feels like you said, Kemani. To be honest, like what you just said, it makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh, and there's one part that I always like to sing, like at the very end, he would say, "Bright beauty of the sky." Oh, I love that part so much. Like,
that's one of my favorite parts too.
His choice in riffs is another thing that I just love. He really takes his time and when to showcase that vocal ability and when not to. Like, he just a master of when to display that ability. So it's just
his phrasing is
the phrasing too.
Elise always says that about Stevie. Yeah. Oh yeah. And we end the album with "Please Don't Go,"
the begging record.
Yes.
Look.
This has been my favorite song for a long time.
Really?
Don't go, baby, don't go.
No. You know what's funny? It's our favorite song, but it don't sound like this record. It don't sound like it should be on there.
It doesn't. And you know why?
Why is
I agree with that. You know why? Because anytime I hear this, it takes me back to I Was Made to Love Her. It takes me back to Once in My Life.
Definitely Once in My Life.
It takes you back to that 60s.
So similar. It's crazy.
Yes. It takes you back to that late 60s. Yes. I love me 60s Motown.
Yes.
So it gives me that flavor. And anytime I listen to it, I'm like, it don't fit.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm with it, but it gives me that. Yes, Elise. Oh my God, get out of my head.
And it's funny you say that because
it don't fit is my favorite.
It's funny because, like, this is one of my favorite closers of his entire classic period. Like, just because it feels because to me it feels like a closer. Like, as out of all the albums in the classic period that I feel like once I hit that intro, I know, we're at the end already. Like, that's what it feels like.
Right.
Yeah. And you took the words right out of my mouth, especially when they raised the key. I definitely feel that late 60s.
Yes.
Stevie Wonder, like how he would sing, like he would really try to go up in that screaming falsetto in those late 60s days.
Yes.
And you feel that in that on the like don't say my, like don't leave Steve, like he was singing third person. I love when he sings in third person.
Yeah.
Oh.
When I heard this for the first time, I was like, oh my God, I'm getting that late 60s flavor. I was like, thank you, Stevie. Like,
Stevie growling.
Yep.
I'll tell you, I love when Stevie get the growling. That's kind of my favorite thing.
It's definitely in the 60s Motown vein as far as simplicity in the lyrics. It's a very simple sing-along type of song.
Yeah.
And even like I say the only kind of.
Because you be going to sing along and then the tempo changes.
Yeah. And then
very hard to sing along.
Oh, Stevie he loves a tempo change.
Like you'll try. You can try to sing along, which I always will, but it don't sound great, but be off.
Yeah. We all try.
That part.
We all try. It's just I'm dealing with a master here. Man has a PhD in music. We're mere elementary school compared to Stevie.
Oh yeah.
Textbooks.
Yeah, I mean, Stevie.
I don't remember who else was on this. I know legendary acapella group, the Persuasions, were singing background on this.
Yes, that I didn't know.
What's the read on this one?
I know Denise was on this too.
Denise was on
this. And
Shirley
was on it.
Okay.
That's my girl. I love me some Shirley Brewer.
Okay. That man with female voices, I swear.
He loves it.
Like, and they would sound like a choir back there, man. They was taking it down back there.
It gets so thick. It goes from this thin thing and then it goes to that thickness.
Into that thick,
yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then that last vamp at the end is just him and crying. Woo!
And his harmonica.
Yes.
And
that's why I was like late 60s.
Late 60s again. And every time I hear that ending, like I always want to rewind. I was like, why are you fading out? I want this to last a little bit. Like that church, like I love a good church moment in an R&B song. Like that's just my thing.
One thing about with Stevie though, one thing about his albums, that's why I could always say, well, in me and Elise's opinion, with songs in the key of life. But I feel like with his albums, he just goes straight to the point with it. With me, it's like no fillers to me, especially starting with. I would even start with Sound Still Delivered. To be honest, I would start there and you go all the way. And it's like Stevie is like, look, we're getting to the point. I don't want no fillers. I want you to like everything.
Right.
That's it. You know what I mean? Once you got to the songs in the key of life, the reason why I give it so much because it's so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like you're so used to Stevie giving you about 38 to 40 minutes, and you that album was what, damn near 2 hours? No, I'm lying. But it was...
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to Stevie. Don't be doing that to Stevie.
It was just about an hour and like 15 minutes. You know what I mean? He give you an extra half an hour and it's like, but it's the songs in the key of life. So I'm like,
and a double album at that. So it's
well, see, my grandparents had the 8-track, so I got 4 of them.
Okay. Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, Fulfillingness was originally supposed to be a double.
Yes, it was.
It was like either a double album or like a 2-part series or something like that.
But Motown said no.
I'm like,
nope. They was like, no, just give us 10 songs and that's it. And I'm like, this dude just came out of what was so horrible and all that. And I'm like, he has proved himself to y'all because technically y'all ain't believe in him, honestly.
Let's call it what it is.
Let's call it what it is. You didn't believe in him at all. But the man just came out with, Music of My Mind. Y'all probably was looking like, we told you so. But then he did Talking Book and then Interventions. It's like, let him be free. Let him do what he wanted to do. Like, but they like, no, you're just going to give us 10 songs and that's it. And it's like, damn, yo. But damn that, Stevie, this album is dope as shit. I wish a lot more people would talk about it. You know what I mean? And I love how said,
like JR, like I always tell you, we're talking about it right now. We are.
That's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's just, before we started talking about it, I just feel as though people just leave this album out. Like y'all just said in this whole episode, it's the bridge of interventions to songs in the key of life. Like, we wouldn't have gotten the greatness of Song in the Key of Life if you didn't get this. Like, at all. Like, the things that he was doing on this, and he mastered, just like we said, he wouldn't have started with Love's in Need of Love if he couldn't start with Smile Please. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just, Stevie, if you ever hear this, this is number 3 for me.
Oh, and Stevie, if you ever hear this, can we please do tour for all your albums? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You always just want everybody just songs in the key of life. That's it. No.
That wasn't enough for me.
Can we get Innovisions? Can we get Fulfillingness?
I want Talking Book, God dang it.
I know you do.
Yes.
I just want Blame on the Sunlight. I didn't get it. For once in my life, I'm going to Blame on the Sunlight. That's all I want.
Right. Looking for another pure love. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh
man. And another song he like tour would be nice too. I love Joy Inside My Tears.
And I'm
another one of those.
Yeah, and I'm a Summer Soft kid myself.
Yes.
That's an underrated record. Vocally, his vocals on that one.
Yes.
Come on. Again, he's using that head voice too that whole time. Come on now.
Listen. Oh my God.
Top tier vocal performance.
Yes.
And for him to be still being able to hit those notes, I saw the Songs of King Life tour, to be able to hit those notes at his age. I've told somebody his voice got better with age.
Yeah, his range expanded.
Control got better with age. He sounds better. Like, when I saw him do that album live, he sounded better than the record, which is crazy to me.
Man.
Crazy to me. What is he? So he did it in 2016 when he's like 60 or something. 60.
Yeah.
66.
Yeah, 66.
Yeah, and better than the record. He did Summer Soft and he didn't miss a note.
My God.
Like,
even on
his, wherever you are, I know you're in Ghana or whatever. Eating good, you're not eating great jollof rice. You got to go to Sierra Leone to get that great jollof rice. Yes, I want all the smoke Africans come through. Do Song to Your Life and all these tours, please, for you to out.
Yes,
Can
we get this, please.
Pretty please.
Well, today we are not going to do word association, but I got something I want y'all to do.
Okay.
And don't overthink it.
Got it.
First, I'll start with Kemani.
Okay.
Think fast. A Stevie song that you want all the listeners to hear that they may not have heard or appreciated as it deserves.
Man.
Share with the class.
Man. So either Something Out of the Blue or Superwoman, Where Were You When I Needed You? I feel like Superwoman.
Question for Mabinti, and we're not even gonna discuss it. This is their assignment.
I'm gonna say it's Saturn. What?
Saturn.
No, I ain't bad at it.
She gonna win.
I have a feeling that's what you was gonna say. I felt it in my spirit.
Oh God, oh God.
She bullying us like I be bullying you, JR.
Yeah. So I'm glad you on this side with me this time.
But yeah. So everybody, all our viewers, go check out those songs.
Yes.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to Saturn with different ears, like how it's, JR. I'm gonna critically really listen to that.
Yeah, me too.
And listen to the lyrics. The lyrics to me are what makes the song great.
Okay.
He's got a line in there. We can't trust you when you take a stand with a gun and Bible in your hand. I think that line, that imagery, that juxtaposition between having a gun and a Bible, Like that line is just so profound. It's like, oh, wow. I love that song. Obviously, because yeah.
I'm gonna go and listen to all 3 of those songs.
Awesome.
We'll report back. Yeah, we thank everybody for hanging out with Kemani and Mabinti, 2 of our favorite music minds. So yes. we feel real good.
Yeah.
But anywho, we also thank everybody watching us every week, and make sure to keep tuning in, subscribe, share it, like it, and just bring some more folks to our family, because you can see the family that we've gained through the show. And so, add a few 100,000 more. Yeah. All right. Yeah. We will catch y'all on the next episode of Cashapp.
Yeah. Plug. Get it. Sorry. Shameless plug.